Hey, Bestie Bees, it's your girl Desiree. Hey,
And it's your girl Maya.
and welcome back to the Beehive Podcast.
Yay.
Yay!
How's it going? What's new? Let's catch up.
Okay, let's see, because I don't know if I want to say too much. But okay, lately I've been getting into more reading. If you guys
Okay.
are familiar with the Alchemist author, I forget his name, like Paulo, I don't know, Paulo something. He's a Brazilian writer, and he has other books as well. So I have like 4 or 5 of his books already, and they're really good. So I feel like if you like The Alchemist, you'll like his other books. I've been going to the gym more, try to get this body right, body yada
Period.
yada
Summer is approaching.
for real. I'm trying to be making the stallion for the summer, okay? And after, but like really get my body right. It already is right, but I want to get it even more snatched, booty bigger, better, plumper, and everything. um, I have been, back on the dating scene.
Okay.
I don't want to say too much, but your girl is booked and busy, ladies. We're in a new era. It's going good so far,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
For
what
sure.
about
I
yourself?
will say, as someone that's been in a relationship for 2 years, I feel like I'm
Mhm.
like living through you when it comes to dating. Like I love
Yeah.
hearing all the stories and the
Okay, I got
details,
plenty of them.
experiences. Yes.
The good and the bad, but I feel like that's what dating is, there's
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. You're
mhm,
to like put yourself out there. You're always gonna run into someone that's just not
mhm.
it. For
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
more than once sometimes. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Probably
cut off.
more frequently than
Blah.
like someone that you actually like.
Yeah, I mean, all it really is, if you're monogamous, like myself, I'm just looking for that one person.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a lot of failing relationships, I want to call it that, until I just find the one that works.
Yeah.
That's all I'm looking for, just the
Yeah.
one.
Just figuring it out.
Are you out there, sir? Let me know.
Yes,
Yeah.
but for me, same thing, just still trying to like be on my fitness shit. I've been like going to the gym after work. I just recently took a chance because
Ooh.
something I've seen that I've really been trying to like lean into, and I think this might be like my kind of like theme of the year, but just like putting
Mhm.
yourself out there and letting, okay, how do I say it? It's like the more you put yourself like out there, whether that's like literally just going outside, getting out of your comfort zone,
Mhm.
like you allow yourself like luck to gravitate towards you. Like luck is so
I think
random,
I've seen
like
a post about
just
that.
being in the right place at the right time. And
Did you
if you
post that?
don't, I
Something like
think
that?
so. I think I might
Okay.
have posted it. It was a tweet. That's why I'm like fumbling over the words. But
Okay.
I'm like, you know what? That's so true. If you just stay home and you stay in like your comfort zone, you never like go anywhere besides work and
Mm.
coming home or whatever, because that sensation of like just doing the same thing, having the same week, like it's easy to get stuck in that. But when you put yourself out there, you're giving yourself the chance to like find luck or to be lucky. You might meet the right person to help you go to the next level or whatever it is. Just
Mhm.
you need to give yourself more chances to like run into luck or
Mhm.
whatever. And so I say that to say I like took a chance on this Nike running event I seen that's happening in LA. It's happening in a few major cities, but it's like in the summer, and they were saying it's like there's gonna be an event after the run at SoFi where it's like a concert and you have like food and drinks, we get like gear and things like that.
Mm.
And so I was like, you know what, let's sign up and see what happens because you have to be selected. And I ended up
Mhm.
getting selected, surprisingly.
Yay!
But then, right, that's how I felt. But then it's like, oh shoot, like
Now
I
you're
have to
ashamed.
run a half marathon because it charged like an application
Mhm.
fee, and the fee is non-refundable. And it's like, okay, you know
Mm.
what? I spent this money, like I have to do it. I have to do it.
Mhm.
Um, So luckily the Run Club app does have like a 12-week program. So I'm like working through that right now. And it's like
Mhm.
a guided workout sessions with like 5 runs out of the week and stuff. So I'm like, okay, this is actually doable. And it feels a
Mhm.
little crazy because I've always said like I want to run a marathon, and I don't know if I was just saying that because it just seems like something that would be like so cool to accomplish.
Mhm.
But now I'm like, okay, you know what? This is doable. I kind of semi ran 5 miles today. My knees were a little in pain, so I like walked half of that, but I still finished in like a little over an hour, which is not
Wow.
bad.
Wait,
Um,
how many miles again?
5. So that
Dang.
means like
Wow, that's
my
good.
mile time was like averaging out at like 20 minutes, but that's
Uh-huh.
because like I could not run at all. So this is
Mm.
mostly me like speed walking. So I feel
Okay.
like that's not terrible. Just thinking of
Mhm.
like that run being 3 hours and that's
Mhm.
13 miles. So it's like
Wow.
about 5 miles. If I do like 5 miles for every hour, I'll be in like a
Mhm.
good range of finishing
Yeah.
that run pretty quickly.
And you
So
still have time to, like,
yeah,
even,
exactly.
improve because it's in June?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel
So
like by then you'll be, like, done an
I'll
hour.
be in shape, right?
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that and just to see like how this journey turns out, like what I feel like afterwards when I finish it. Cause I'm gonna have to give up smoking and excuse me, I'm gonna have to give up drinking for some time. But I just
Yes.
know afterwards I'm going to like really celebrate this
Mhm.
because
Wait, you wanna specify smoking so people don't think you're
yeah,
a nicotine
not
addict?
the cigarettes. Yeah, no. We are from California and we live in LA, so when we say smoking, we're talking about
Yeah.
cannabis.
Not talking about that lung
We're not
disease
talking
killer.
about cigarettes. Just to specify, yes, thank
'Cause
you for saying
we ain't
that.
doing all that.
But yeah, let them know like what are we
Ooh.
getting into today?
Yes, well, so today's conversation, we're gonna talk about defining masculine and femininity energies, balancing both of them in our personal lives, our careers, how Beyonce has. I feel like showcased that within her career. She talked about that in a couple of her documentaries. How would you like how would you define the masculine feminine
Um,
energy?
I think like so okay, you know what? I'm an astrology girl. And I
Mm.
right now for some reason I'm struggling to like
Mhm.
really because I know there's like certain characteristics of like,
Mhm.
masculine and feminine
Yeah.
and people kind of feel like a
Mhm.
stereotypical things like masculine or feminine is like soft, masculine is
Mhm.
like hard.
But what is it to you, like, your, like, personal.
I think like I think feminine sometimes when I think of feminine, it just reminds me of like the beauty of things and
Mhm.
like maybe not as logical, just like being in tune with like your emotions and having empathy, caring for
Mhm.
people. Which is why I was saying I'm low key gonna get into astrology because it kind of
Mhm.
reminds me of like Cancer and Capricorn, which is like the mother and the father.
I'm the daddy.
Um,
I'm your
so
daddy.
yes, I think like personally, I still kind of see it like that in a way, but
Mhm.
not necessarily saying that okay, feminine and masculine have to be tied to like women and men, even though like
Mhm.
mother and father are. But
Mhm.
it's like there are men or dads or whoever that like completely embrace like what that feminine side
Mhm.
is or what it is to be like motherly. And there's moms or women that are like embracing the masculine. Maybe they are the the breadwinners or whatever it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so. I want to say like it's. I think feminine kind of leads into like the beauty and emotions and stuff like that. And when I think of like masculine, it's more so just like maybe being organized and being planned, more like structure. Like maybe like can I don't want to say handling business. I don't know, maybe I'm
Mhm.
still kind of, like, trying to
Figuring out
understand what
no,
it
I think that's
means,
real. Yeah.
but I know that there's, like I think there's definitely 2 sides of it, but people are both. People have both, like,
Mhm.
a masculine and feminine side.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think even, like, like, in modern day, like, today, um, there's been more conversations about, like, what does it mean to be, like, masculine, feminine, man, woman,
Yeah.
or, like, non-binary, things like that, and realizing, like, for me, I separate, like, woman, man, and then masculine, feminine,
Mhm.
because I feel like both men and women are all in all genders, um, it's like a spectrum when it comes to masculinity and femininity,
Definitely.
So no matter, like, what gender you are, you could be both, you can be, one more than the other, but I do see, like, feminine as more, like, nourishing,
Mhm.
the beauty of things like you're saying, and I guess, like, more of, like, following your heart, and then masculine, I feel like, is more, like, stoic, logical,
Mhm.
um, and yeah, practical, which Capricorns are known to be very practical, like, matter
Yeah.
of fact, um, and yeah, and I feel like it's important to have a balance like that,
Yeah, definitely.
and I think Beyoncé, like, I remember in the Renaissance film, she does touch on that, like, when she's at work, she's, like, a businesswoman um, and everything, so she might be more tapped into, like, her masculine energy, but when she goes home,
Yeah.
she's a wife and a mother, so she's more nourishing. I think even, like, her Sasha Fierce album was kinda like that, like, I Am, like, on
Mhm.
one side, Sasha Fierce, she's, on stage doing her thing.
I feel like that
Um,
album was kind of like even though
yeah.
there's so many, like, soft songs on there, that album feels a little more masculine to me, a little
Mhm.
bit.
There's a couple interviews or one interview I recently was watching again where she talks about that, where she's
Mhm.
like, what was it? I Am Sasha Fierce, right? So on one part of the album, it's Sasha Fierce, so it's like who she is, a persona, and then on the back was dang, how am I, like, forgetting this album? But how it was set up, like, she wanted to show, like, on one side, like, she's Sasha Fierce, and on the other side, she's also or she's Beyonce, and she's,
Mhm.
like, who she is at home, more soft and in her natural element. I think it was an interview with Ellen. Ellen? Ellen. Ellen? The
Ellen.
Ellen Show? I haven't watched that. They discontinued that, no?
Yeah, she doesn't do it
Ellen?
anymore.
Oh, okay.
I think Jennifer Hudson replaced her, right? Was it Jennifer Hudson?
Oh.
Or it may have been Sherry.
Oh, Sherry
One of
Shepherd?
them one of them
I
replaced
think
her.
Sherry,
Sherry Shepherd.
Shepherd, actually, my dad's friends with her. I met her once
Oh,
at her house.
wow.
She's
Okay.
pretty, really nice woman. But, I think she replaced, Wendy Williams.
Oh, okay, yeah. So maybe it was Jennifer
Oh,
Hudson that
wow.
replaced
I like that
Ellen.
show. I watched some clips on, like, YouTube
Mhm.
about of her, of that show, or, like, when they do, like, little walk
Little Tunnel.
tunnel.
Yeah, that
That
is
is
cute.
so cute. I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, but getting back to what I was saying, I'm like, what was I saying?
Um, Beyonce on Ellen.
Um, Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, was Sasha Fierce more of, like, her masculine side, and then her, like, who she is, Beyonce, is more like the feminine side
Mhm.
of her, and, like, how she tries to balance the 2 out now. I've even seen people talk about, like, in, like, recent times, like, we don't really hear Beyoncé talk about Sasha Fierce,
Mhm.
so it makes me think, like, has she mastered the balance of masculine and femininity by just being Beyonce,
Yeah.
and not needing, like, Sasha Fierce to fall back on,
Yeah. That's a good
you
point.
know?
I think, like I feel like it was an era, like, Sasha Fierce was,
Mhm.
like, just that era that she was in, because I feel like with each album there is,
Mhm.
an era, but I don't know, something about that does like, I even just thinking of, like, the visuals and then, like, the songs, they're very like feminine, but it just feels like the energy she brought to it was
Yeah.
masculine, even with like single ladies. Like it's so like girly and cute, like but when you think about what she's talking about, it's like, girl, if he likes it, like he would marry you. Don't trip off that
If he wanted to,
man.
he would, but he didn't, so
Yes.
what
Yeah, no, I feel like Beyonce does a really good job at leaning into both of them, leaning into both sides. Because like she is a woman and she like very much embraces like she embraces that, her sensuality, like she loves herself, she's confident in herself, but at the same time, like she's definitely a boss
Yeah.
and she leans into that side too.
Do you remember in the Renaissance film where she was like, I feel like people just keep BSing me, like they'll just keep BSing you until they're like, this bitch will not give up,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And I even like as a black woman, actually I feel like even as a black woman, like the whole masculine femininity can like look different for us because we get that trope of like being a strong black woman, you know, where it's like, no, actually I need help. I'm struggling. I'm not strong all the
Yeah.
fucking time. And I'm not Miss Independent all the time. Even though all the ladies, wait, how the song go? If you feel me, throw your hands up. Oh my gosh, how am I forgetting this song? All the women is independent, throw your hands up at me. Okay, yeah. That it's like, yes, I am, but there are times actually no, like sometimes like no, I'm not strong at all. I'm not independent. Like I actually need help,
Yeah.
you know. But like at the same time, like I can like be independent and strong. But like that's not all of me.
Yeah.
It's a part of me, you know?
Yeah.
But have you ever felt like that, like as a like black woman feeling the pressure to like or just feeling more masculinized? Yeah. Kinda how like with Serena Williams. I feel like that was
Yeah.
big. Like a lot of people like said things about her because of the way she looked. Even like Michelle Obama
Yeah.
or any kind of yeah, like a lot of black women are attacking the media and because of looking masculine or being more masculine, being more loud, ghetto, whatever it is, you know.
Yeah, I don't honestly, I feel like I don't know if that's ever been like projected onto me, but I know like personally sometimes I feel like I do like lean into more of the masculine side. I can I think maybe even just like my personality sometimes like um I really love to lean into just like planning, organizing, and sometimes like taking like charge on things, but always open to like having like the support, especially when it's like just something I have no idea about, like car issues. Then it's like I know like I want all the help I can get.
I don't know
Like
how to change a tire.
please help me, please support me.
Do you know how to put air into your tires? Because I'm still confused.
I can do that. I can do that.
I know how to do it, but I just don't know like how do you know when there's enough? Because even when I tried to measure, like use those tire pressure tools, I still am confused.
Okay, see, maybe I don't think because I don't really know like how you tell. I just kind of like gauge how my tires look, and I'm like, okay, that looks like enough. So maybe maybe I don't know.
Whole time she got way too much pressure,
right? Yeah, no. I feel like even sometimes just like what I want to wear, like I noticed at my job, like the women's clothes are cute, but it's always the men's clothes. I'm like, I'd rather much be wearing that as a
I feel that
woman.
sometimes.
Because like the women's clothes are like everything so girly, and right now like bows are a thing, and everything's like slim and tight, like tops wise. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? Like I'd very much rather be in a big t-shirt, jeans, and some sneakers. Like that really I feel like those be like my most comfortable outfits where I'm just like it's like if you were to put this on a guy, like he could wear it too.
I do like those kind of outfits.
Yeah.
I will say though, like, growing up being a really tall girl,
Mhm.
I at one point and also being athletic, like, I played basketball for a good chunk of my youth, and I at one point, like, in middle school, where, like, you're trying to, like, come into yourself more, like, finding your
Mhm.
style, I kinda felt like, um, I don't know, because I can't remember a specific time, like, when someone made me feel like this, but I kinda felt like I had to tone down my masculinity because 'cause I'm like, I'm already tall. Like,
Mhm.
I felt like I looked too masculine for a girl, or I how do I say it? Like, I feel like I didn't look girly enough
Gotcha.
because I'm like, I'm already taller than, like, half the boys here. I have, like, an athletic build, like, broader shoulders, and I didn't like that because 'cause I'm like, "Well, I'm a girl, like, I need to look, like, petite and cute and blah, blah, blah."
Mhm.
But then I also went through this era where, like, I was so anti-pink because I'm like, "Well, just because 'cause I'm a girl don't mean I like pink, like, that's an ugly ass color." But now I love pink. Like, just in the last episode, I was wearing a pink top. So I've grown to love pink, and I feel like it's very healing for me, like,
Yeah.
to tap into both of those energies, or even, like, sometimes not even make something that when I really think about, I'm like, is this really masculine, feminine way to be, like, body hair? Like, well, we all have body hair as a man, as a
Right,
woman, so, like,
right.
why does it so or, like, not tying things to, like, again, like, woman, okay, that's automatically feminine. Man, okay, that's automatically masculine,
Yeah.
or even, like, to certain things, like, I guess, like, for me, like, even, like, clothing,
Mhm.
um, I because when I was younger, I thought that way of, like, "Well, I don't wanna wear this because like, then I'm gonna look too masculine,"
Yeah.
Or I was so wishy-washy because I'm like, "Well, I don't wanna look like a girly girl, like, weak," because
Mhm.
that's what I thought it meant, like, "Oh, this is gonna make me look weak."
Yeah.
I didn't know what the hell I wanted to look like. But, I mean, as a 12-year-old, like, goes through, you're trying to, like, find your own style.
Right.
Um, but now I think I do lean more into, like, my femininity. Um, and I'm still, like, kinda hesitant to, like, even, like, link that to, like, how I dress
Mhm.
in a way, you know? Or, like, maybe, like, to each their own, like, that's how I would show my femininity,
Yeah.
but that doesn't necessarily mean, like, just because you wear a dress means you're feminine,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to kind of, like, decipher through that when you
Mhm.
think about it, because just even as kids, it's almost like we're being brainwashed to, like, see things as gender roles, like
Mhm.
the going down like the girls section of like, Toys R Us, it's like Barbies and
Yeah.
baby dolls and cooking sets and stuff. And then boys play with like trucks and action figures and
Building
things like
blocks,
that. Yeah.
you
And
know?
so it's like you're just like without even realizing it, you're being just naturally conditioned to like see
Mhm.
things a certain way or to tie like femininity to women, masculinity to men.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, no, I even had like a little cousin when we were younger, and he loved playing with Barbies and dolls, and it was
Ooh.
so bad to the point where like if they were to take it away from him, like he would cry. Like he just that's
Oh.
what he loved playing with.
Yeah.
And I used to feel so bad about that. When I got older, I was like, that when I think about it now, I'm like, that is actually like so messed up. Like he was just
Yeah.
a kid, like, and that's he didn't have that understanding of like why can't I play with this Barbie doll, like just
Mhm.
because I'm a boy kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Um as a kid that I didn't understand, but now that I'm older,
Mhm.
it feels like it's kind of messed up because like
Mhm.
he's not thinking like that, and to be younger, it's like that's so confusing of like why it has to be like, oh, this is a girl toy, this is a boy
Yeah.
toy. Like, what does that even mean for real? Or even with like
Yeah.
the cooking sets and stuff. That's something everybody needs to know
No, for
how to do
real. We all need to
for
learn how to
sure.
cook because I ain't gonna be cooking the whole damn time. Hell.
Yeah, no.
Like, actually, that reminds me, like, when one of my brothers was little, we would call him I feel so bad now, but we would be like, "Don't be a sissy lala," like if he kept crying too much. But
Mhm.
I'm like, he was a kid. Like that's what kids do. They cry when they don't get their way.
Yeah.
Um, and so I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's so like the lines get so blurred and everything gets so confusing when we like tie things that really have nothing to do with masculine and femininity. Like they do, but like not as much as we think they do.
Yeah.
And then for me, it's like it's not. I don't think it's nothing wrong with saying like pink is more feminine. I think it goes wrong when there's like extreme beliefs of like if you wear pink as a boy,
Mhm.
you're weak or you're gay, or
Yeah.
then people start questioning your sexuality, and then you start facing like oppression and like harm. I think that's when it becomes like, wait, like it really wasn't that deep. Like your
Yeah.
nephew, like you just wanted to play with dolls. I mean, I used to like love playing with my brother, with his trucks, and I remember like my mom, um, I wanted what was it like building blocks, and she got me um one, but she's like, oh, I couldn't find none in the girls section, but like they had a lot in the boys section, and so at first I'm like, oh, like this is like an ugly like color, like um, I feel like a lot of boy toys are like navy blue, like darker
Mhm.
colors.
Yeah.
So at first I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever." But I really just had fun building the blocks, and
Mhm.
like how they have like examples like what you can build, and then like you would follow the instructions, and I really liked doing it. And I didn't feel like it meant that like, oh, she a lesbian now, or like she likes playing with like boy stuff. Like it's.
That's just what you liked as
That's
a
just
kid.
yeah, what I liked, and my mom didn't question me,
Yeah.
or anything, and I grew playing up in sports, as well, um, and but then I think, like, what did confuse me was just, like, seeing what the world said about it,
Yeah.
and then, like, in the household, like, hearing things that contradicted themselves, and it's just like, "Oh, maybe I guess this is too feminine or too masculine?"
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to see like the shift to thinking like in the in history how like
Mhm.
again like when those gender roles were like very very prevalent like in the 50s and 60s like the woman takes care of the household and
Mhm.
the man goes to work. And then it's like, okay, women joined the workforce and women
Mhm.
became more independent. But now it's like we're having those conversations again about the man like taking care of things and like
Mhm.
having the conversation about should things be 50-50 and stuff like that. I think it is Kiki Palmer. She talks about it often, but she feels like she talks about her experience of not really seeing those traditional gender roles that
Mm,
like a lot
okay.
of people grew up with.
Uh-huh.
Um, just because her mom was actually the one that was like on the road with her. Like her mom is
Mm.
her manager. And so that means, you know, that she's like going to protect her in like certain spaces or speak up for her, which like, it's very much masculine energy, like
Mhm.
being just like all the planning, organizing, being on top of stuff as her manager, but then this is also like her daughter. So she talks about her mom doing that and her dad was actually the one that stayed home and like took care of the home while they were like gone when Kiki and her mom were like gone and
Mhm.
traveling to like help her with her career. Her dad was like looking out for the other kids and that meant like making breakfast, making sure they went to school on time, doing the
Mhm.
ironing, like
Oh, I remember her
doing
saying that,
like
yeah.
the sewing and stuff. And so she said she had like she didn't really see those gender roles, so she doesn't lean into them like she feels
Mm.
like like people are like susceptible to do now because of
Mhm.
those societal pressures.
Mhm.
But I love when she talks about that because like it's really just basic needs that like everyone
Mhm.
needs to know how to do. Like everybody needs to know how to cook. Everybody needs to know how to iron. Respectfully too, everyone needs to like have a job and go to work
Yep.
if that's what you want to do. But I'm also like not mad at like maybe there's I can't think of anyone specific right now, but I know there's like a couple out there where like maybe the wife became the the
Breadwinner.
content creator and her content is
Uh-huh.
going up and they were actually just on Kiki's podcast. I can't remember their name right now, but it was a
Uh-huh.
couple and like the scenario I'm talking about where like the wife was doing content creation and it blew up and she quit her job
Mhm.
and he quit his job to help her with content creation and like to
Wow.
support her and that's like something that's unheard of. Like
Uh-huh.
usually it's the woman.
Is it Shampoo Jam by chance?
I don't
Or
know. I'm not too sure. It's like
that's like a similar
it's like one of
couple.
her most recent episodes, like past week.
Okay. I gotta go look at that.
Yeah, and it's like usually it's like the women kind of like getting up and uprooting their life to like follow whatever the man is doing. And so I
Mhm.
love to hear their story about how he was like, "Hey, like she's making way more money than me. I might as well quit my job and help her fulfill like her career and help support her."
Yeah.
Even just Cheryl Lee Ralph and her husband and their dynamic, like they don't even live
Oh,
in
yeah.
the
She's
same
like, "I see you when I
state.
see you, and then
Yes. She's
you do your
like,
own
he has
thing."
his career and I have
Mhm.
mine. And like I love that so much. And I feel like, dang, they've been married for 20 years. Like, I didn't get why people were kind of like upset behind that. But it's like, if it
Mhm.
works for them, it works for them.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I think people have to realize is first mind your own business, and then whatever works for you, and what
Exactly.
doesn't, then like it doesn't. And even when it comes to dating, like finding that like person who aligns with you, if you know that I don't know, you do want a more traditional man or whatever, then
Yeah.
don't get into a relationship with this guy who is like non-traditional. I feel like
Yeah.
you're kind of like slapping yourself in your own face, like that makes no sense. Or on the other side, like if you're a guy and you want to be, I don't know what they call like polyamorous,
Hmm.
but you're dating a woman who wants like monogamy, come on now.
Yeah.
It's like, but teach their own. But that just reminded me of dang, forgot. I'm always forgetting. You were talking about oh, so that reminded me of another couple that I watch. She's a sex educator, podcast, media person,
Hmm.
Shan Boodram and her husband Jared Brady, who's like a musician. He also had a podcast called Enjoy the Podcast. And actually that podcast also inspired me too to like get into the podcast world.
Hmm.
But I like his podcast because it just felt like very balance of masculine and feminine energy with him and like two other friends. And I feel like they were kind of the opposite or just refreshing to like hear a podcast ran by a man that wasn't like woman bashing,
Yeah.
like the red pill, blue pill community.
Yeah.
And I feel like they just gave like their honest opinions and it wasn't like too crazy or just always putting the blame on women for some reason. I feel like that's like a lot of like red pill men do.
Hmm.
Or like I'm high value. What do you bring to the table?
Yeah.
Shut the hell. Like
Yeah.
what do you bring to the table? Because I don't think you're bringing nothing, but you're expecting a woman to like live up to like these high expectations when you can't even meet them yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
To be very, very real about that too, I kind of feel
Mhm.
bad for those men. Actually, I do feel bad for
No,
those
I
men
do.
because I think what it is like, and something I realized as I've gotten older, like
Mhm.
feminism is really about it's really like supposed to uplift and support both genders. I think
Mhm.
with like gender roles and stuff, it really does put a lot of pressure on men to be real. Like
Mhm.
and to kind of like in a way speak up for them. I do get like the pressure of like having to feel like you have to be the breadwinner or
Mhm.
feeling like you have to have like your shit together before you can date and stuff, even though like
Mhm.
some things I like personally believe in too, but
No, yeah, there's
I feel like I'm able to take
standards.
yeah, I'm definitely able to take a step back and see that like, okay, men do have a lot more pressure on them sometimes in
Mhm.
society to like to really kind of like lean into that high value men and
Mhm.
idea. And I think what happens is like it's just they're in it so deep that they like they're losing they're losing the plot of like
Mhm.
what this like patriarchy really is. Like I don't
Yeah.
think I don't know. I think it's like they get so deep into it and they feel like that's
Mhm.
what it has to be when actuality, like, you don't have to be that man.
Yeah. They put
Like,
the pressure on themselves,
yeah,
and they can't even
exactly.
but they can't it's, like, confusing. So, like, with the whole, like, red pill, blue pill community, I'm, like, so confused, like, again, like, what is their end goal? Like, what is this for? I think it
Yeah.
was to, combat, like, the present day, like, how we view gender roles. I think they're trying
Mhm.
to bring back, like, their traditional roles, like, no, a man needs to do this and a woman
Yeah.
but it just seems like it's very control it just seems like it's to control
Yeah.
rather than to, like, build a relationship or I don't know, it's like a front, It's something
Yeah.
about it, it's just like, it's making no sense, and, like, there's no reason for this, like, it seems like you guys are just, like, some, like, there's some hurt in there, which is, like,
Yeah.
how you're saying, like, I feel bad for these kind of men because like, I feel like you're losing out on, like, the beauty of what a relationship could be if you just allow yourself to experience that, and
Exactly.
not put these societal pressures on yourself and then on another woman that, like, you don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that really just has to be so detrimental to like how you look at relationships when you feel like you're the one that has to
Mhm.
have everything together. And then they kind of
Yeah.
get this point of view. At least like from what I can assume, I think they get this point of view of like you may have said it, but like what do
Mhm.
women bring to the table
Yeah.
if I'm the one that has all the money, I have all this access, I have all this power. It's
Mhm.
like what is my woman doing for me? And they kind of see it as like that traditional stuff,
Uh-huh.
like, oh, taking care of the family, having my kids and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But we're in 2025
Mhm.
and so and shit is hard. And
For
I think
real.
relationships and just relationships in general with anybody, it's like it should just be about support. It really needs.
Mhm.
And Gabrielle Union actually just came out and kind of like spoke on it was like a while back where she talked about how her and her husband are 50-50 and
Mhm.
she's like, I have like her family, she takes care of a lot of people and she didn't want to put that pressure on him and she knows he takes care
Mhm.
of a lot of people. But really recently, she came out and said that she kind of felt that way out of just being insecure because
Mhm.
like spaces that she was in and just growing up as a woman, she kind of felt like she didn't want to lean on him financially because
Mhm.
now you're vulnerable. Like
Mm.
and just she was kind of saying like, he respectfully he does make more money than me. He's an
Mhm.
athlete like and financially like he wanted to support more and it was just allowing him to do that meant that she had to be
Mhm.
vulnerable in how she contributed to the relationship.
Mhm.
And so she said that her kind of feeling her saying that back in the day was like just coming from out of like being secure and now she
Mhm.
understands that like this is a partnership and this is my husband. So
Mhm.
if I'm in a position where like maybe I can't do 50 and he has to do 70 or 60 or 80, like that's
Mhm.
what you do when you're in a marriage, and
Mhm.
it might switch. Something might happen with him and now
Yeah.
she's doing 70, but that doesn't make him less of a man, or she's
Yeah.
not less of a woman because he's taking care of things. And I think that's kind of what these
Mhm.
gender roles really like
Mhm.
it's like harmful to relationships because it's about support.
Yeah. I also feel like for me, what was I gonna say? Like, I feel like that, like, that stuff is the oh my gosh, what was I saying? I feel like support is earned,
Mhm.
like for me personally, like, right off the bat, I don't know how I feel about, like, the 50-50 thing, you
Mhm.
know, like, or right off the bat, like, I'm dating this, man and he's struggling. It's like, and vice versa, like, I don't wanna be dating and I'm, like, struggling and, like, that's, how we start the relationship, you
Yeah.
know, and 'cause it just makes me think of, like, okay, when I hear, like, the whole, like, high value or, like, that kinda talk,
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of that conversation is missing is, like, that stuff is earned. It's not
Yeah.
like day one,
Oh, yeah.
um, "Oh, yeah, I got you, support you, whatever," because a lot in my and I've seen it from personal experiences,
Mhm.
you have to be careful, like, they will take advantage of you, like, you know, I've had, like, an ex, I
Yeah.
feel like he took advantage of my, financial circumstance because it was better than his,
Mhm.
and it's like, yes, I wanted to give no, I did give him the benefit of the doubt, like, he was this aspiring rapper, and so I was like, "Oh, you know, let me just support him now and because, like, later when he becomes successful, then he'll support me."
Yeah.
That probably was never gonna happen, honestly, no, and I just think some men, like, they'll run with this,
Mhm.
but they apply it to the wrong case scenario,
Yeah.
you know? So it's I don't know, I feel like some men, um, like, this whole, like these kind of conversations is, like it can, like, fall into the it's like one of those things where, like, it can fall into the wrong hands, and people
Mhm.
can twist, like, the meaning of, like, um what am I trying to say? Like, the rhetoric that the red pill men talk about, right? I'm like, you know, some
Mhm.
of the stuff, like, does make sense, you know? Like, okay, if you're a breadwinner and you want your wife to, you know, or she's at the house more. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. You know, like she's the one there more so she can clean and cook whatever.
Yeah.
But I fear that like and have seen it where men will take that and then they'll apply it to their life, but they don't make more money.
Yeah.
They're actually more at home. But they're expecting their girl to get off of her job and then clean and
Yeah.
do all that work. It's like, no, this doesn't apply to you
Yeah.
because it's not like this the situation. Oh my gosh, I'm making sense.
It's like they're applying it to their lives even though they're not bringing anything to the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Even in the examples I brought up, like, these
Uh-huh.
are married people, so it
Yeah.
makes sense.
With successful careers,
Yeah.
you
So it,
know.
like, it makes sense that, like, that support is like, "Okay, this is my husband or this is my wife." Like, it's not as hard to
Mhm.
do versus just dating someone and maybe it's not as serious. It's, like, harder.
Mhm.
It is a little harder to navigate, but I think kind of
Mhm.
like how you said in the beginning, like, there are things you need to, like, look out for and
Mhm.
see, like, if you can't take care of yourself, like, you're not gonna be able to offer anything to
Yeah,
me.
like support the other person,
Yeah.
you know, because actually, like, when you were talking about that one couple where the woman make or the wife makes more than him, and so he quit his job, that's
Mhm.
kinda like the couple I was bringing up, from what I'm understanding, I don't know if I'm, like, fully correct on their situation, but, um, Shan Boodram Brady, she, I think, was, like, the breadwinner, but when they met, she actually wasn't, you
Mhm.
know, but she became the breadwinner, and then I think he does his own thing, like, with his music, and, like, all his other, adventures. I think he was even, like, in a Netflix show or something, but I guess a lot of what he does is help her with her career,
Mhm.
um, and everything like that, but that's something, like, I wouldn't mind because 'cause I'm like, I just don't want someone that's just sitting on their ass.
Yeah.
Because again, that happens, and I've seen it happen, and I feel like men or people don't think it will happen or could happen, but no, it does. Some men will do this is all they do.
Yeah.
Talk, talk, talk about they're this, they're that, they're high value, they're da 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 da. And then behind closed doors, they're not doing nothing with their
Yeah.
lives. And they're just depending on the passenger side of their friend's car.
Their best friends,
Their
right?
best friend's ride. Yeah, that's what I was
Trying
trying to
to
say.
holler at
At
me.
me. Um, so I wouldn't I wouldn't mind, I wouldn't mind a relationship like that. Like if eventually I became the breadwinner and then my husband quit his job to then help me.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, because I was saying, like, I don't want someone just sitting on their ass doing
Yeah.
nothing and talking all this stuff and being cruel, being toxic. Because sadly, I feel like a lot of times it becomes abusive.
Mhm.
And I feel like people don't like take it serious. Like this happens, y'all. Like this literally happens. I've seen it happen, and it's just really sad to see those kind of relationships, like how they can turn out. And so I feel like some people have to realize, like as women, like we do have to think, like when going into dating, like thinking about our safety and just
Yeah.
not wanting to get played because then we're blamed for it. It's like, oh, well, you should have saw all the signs and you should have just left,
No,
you
for real.
know?
That
So
always
it's
gets
like
me.
I'm gonna look out for my best interest. If I'm um seen as, I don't know, a gold digger or whatever negative term you want to label me, then I'll be that. But I won't be with a dusty, you know?
Yeah. No, for real.
So yeah.
And I think that just like makes sense as an ambitious woman that's like trying to like focus on her career and stuff like that.
Hmm.
It just only makes sense to have someone that's doing the same thing
Yeah.
for sure.
And it's out there. I mean, I've seen beautiful relationships.
Yeah.
I mean, from what you told me, I feel like your relationship is very healthy,
Wow, thank
beautiful,
you.
balanced.
No, I feel like this is definitely my like very first like healthy relationship where
Hmm.
I feel like we're both professionals and we both have like, ambition and goals, but also like I still I still have so much room to like be myself and like
Hmm.
work on like my aspirations and things I'm working on. And he still like does his own thing too. But it's like when we're
Hmm.
together, we like enjoy each other's space and time. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank
Yeah, you're
you.
welcome. No, because I'm like, it is out there. I know we're talking about like all this other stuff, like what could go wrong, but there's also chances like it could go so right and be so loving and healthy. And I feel like we all deserve those kind of that kind of relationship, And I just again like feel bad for the people who I feel like put up all these rules or like entitlement where it's like
Hmm.
you're doing it to yourself, dude. Like
Yeah.
you're missing out on like it could it could have been something beautiful. We could have wait, what's that one thing? We were rooting for you. We are all rooting for you. It's like
Right.
I feel like life is trying to root for you, the universe, but then it's like you want to come over here and like, I don't know, swing your dick around like you fucking own the place. And it's like that's not what
Like,
it's about,
yeah,
you know?
I feel like, I don't know, they just need to get out of like their own head and ask, like,
Mhm.
how serious is it? Is it like serious to like die alone? Like,
I heard that happens. A lot of people who
yeah,
work in nursing homes say there's a like lonely man epidemic or something like
hmm,
that's how most of them end up is alone, nobody there.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
sad.
no, no, definitely. That's what I was saying. Like, I feel, of course, like they get on those. That mentality like definitely irks
Mhm.
me, but like at the end of the day I feel
Mhm.
bad for you because ultimately like it's, I don't know, I don't want to assume, but I
Mhm.
want to make the assumption that it's going to turn a lot of women off, and like
Yeah, it
that kind of
has.
mentality is going to attract like a certain
It does the
women.
opposite of what they think it's gonna do.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna turn women off rather than turn women on. But it's like, do you even like turning women on? Do you like boys? Is this what it's really about? Just be honest. What
Yeah.
are you into? I'm looking at the camera like it's on. Is this camera on me? No, this camera's on me. No, but yeah, I guess we just gotta pray for them.
Yeah.
I do actually like hope that they like the whatever that community is called, the red pill, blue pill, like they see a different perspective because unfortunately, like that outlook can cause harm to
Yeah.
other women. So it's like I hope that I don't know another wave of that comes, but like it's healthier. It's from a better place, more intentions. Instead of like griping about women, maybe it's just more about like helping other men level up.
Yeah.
Like let's put a like relationship women on the side and let's just focus on you and like how you can improve your life. And
Yeah.
if you find a lovely lady to spend it with, great. I wish it'd be like I feel like it was starting that way or like some of it is, but then it goes women and then it just goes left.
Yeah.
And it's like you're missing the point, you know?
Yeah. For sure.
But yeah. Good luck.
Right.
Yeah. Stop and smell the roses. Sometimes y'all just need to like stop and smell the roses and see the beauty of the rose and we should all just be here and
for sure. I feel like it even goes back to what we were saying in the beginning. Like, what is the end goal of this mentality?
Yeah.
How are you going to benefit from it? And does it really align with like what you want in life? Sometimes you really do have to get out of your own way, get out of like your own head to like be able to receive the things that you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't make you weak, you know, or anything. Even like I feel like, oh my gosh, I know we gotta wrap up. But this last thing, I just feel like everyone experiences rejection in life. It happens. That doesn't mean you need to go down a rabbit hole of like, I hate men, I hate women, you know, and then like build all these walls up or like already jump to assumptions of like, oh, well, the next person's gonna do this to me, you know, and then so I need to like it's like I need to play them before they could play me, you know. Which I low key was there at one point. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little toxic. But we've grown.
Oh yeah. And that's from both sides too, men and women.
Yeah.
Kind of like think like that now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like you guys just gotta take people for who they are, and then if you don't like it, and you can remove your just don't deal with that person and just move on. There's plenty of fish out in the sea.
Yes.
Just need to take you some time to find the right one. But that's how it's always been.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
Oh yeah. Love yourself.
Right. Know your worth.
Balance the feminine and masculine. You know, both genders can do that. Every gender can do that. We all have masculine and feminine energy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for tuning in again and sitting with us through another episode. Let us know how you feel about this topic, like, or, you know, maybe just some examples of like how gender roles they really shouldn't matter in this day and age anymore.
Yeah. Make sure you guys follow us on all our social media platforms. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube.
Yes, like and subscribe.
Smash that like button.
Yes, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you for tuning in on another episode of the Beehive Podcast. Bye. Yay. Period.